Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition and Pathfinder 2nd Edition, two similarly themed games whose mechanics set them apart, and today we are going to talk about how both of these games handle the start of combat, specifically on how they handle initiative and how they differ from each other. So let's get this video started and let's roll some initiative. So let's start things off with D&D 5th Edition. D&D 5th Edition's initiative system, which is a tongue twister to say, is a system that is based off of dexterity. It rewards characters who are quick and fast, meaning that if you have a party consisting of a wizard, a barbarian, and a rogue, no matter what happens, the rogue is probably going to always be on top. Now, there are feats and magic items that can give you modifiers to help your initiative, but at the end of the day, whenever you are rolling, either you are an NPC or a PC, you are going to be using a d20 plus dexterity. So it is, like I said, a system that really rewards characters who are quick and fast when combat begins. Now, for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, it's way more freeform. It's very situational. So unlike Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, there isn't one single stat, one single skill that you're going to be using every time you roll initiative. It really depends what your characters are doing. So let's say we still have the same party composition. We have a rogue, we have a barbarian, and we have a wizard, and they're trying to break into a building to fight the bandits inside. And let's say the barbarian wants to start this all off by kicking down the door. They would then use an athletics check to start combat. That is their initiative, is using an athletics check. Now, let's say the rogue is trying to sneak in a window. They would be using stealth. And let's say a wizard is preparing to cast spells. They would be using arcana. So, like I said, it's not one single stat for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It's really specific on what your character is doing, meaning that you kind of have to think more strategically when you are getting into combat in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And if your character isn't doing anything like specific when combat starts, you are going to use perception a majority of the time. But it really is based off of what your character is doing. Are they trying to do something they're very good at? And that is how you start combat. And it also works the same way for monsters and NPCs in that game system, making it a little bit more complicated, but also really rewarding characters and players who can think outside the box on how they want to start combat, you know?